Do you ever feel like you're pretty unorganized when it comes to your crypto investments? You know you made some money during the last bull run, but you're not sure how you made the money, how much you made, where it's all stored now, and just the value of it all in total. I felt the same way. So I decided to do some research and just pick out some top crypto portfolio trackers that are free. The first crypto portfolio tracker I'm going to talk about today is Coinly. Coinly is something I actually did a video about when it came to me doing the crypto tax tools video, and I've decided to mention it again now just because it has this free tracker where you can input all of your exchanges and wallets into one place. It's nice that you can actually do all this for free, and then if you do decide in the future you want to file your taxes, you can also just use the same app. So it's like an all-in-one. It seems like a solid tracker for all your exchanges and wallets. As a bit of a test, I decided to connect all of my exchanges and wallets that I've ever used, and you can choose to import them from the very start of the wallet, so the first transaction. And overall, it's done okay in sort of adding up everything I've got, but it's not so great when it comes to sort of DeFi and especially the NFTs. As I said in the previous video on the crypto tax tools, it does not seem to really figure out what NFTs are, and it just lists them as tokens and there's no value behind those. So if you're making a lot of NFT purchases and sales, it's probably not the app for you, but if you just want to have a look at your holdings, especially on centralized exchanges, then it's perfect. It can cover a wide range of exchanges and wallets and transactions all for free, as I mentioned before, and you can actually manually edit some of these transactions if they don't look right as well. I'd say overall this is like a good beginner portfolio tracker for people that are just using centralized exchanges and maybe a MetaMask wallet in there as well. It's not quite got the accuracy for some losses and gains that I've made throughout the years. It seems to be a little bit hung up on tokens that it doesn't recognize, and also old tokens as well. For example, I'm in one project called Lightning, and they did like a complete contract change, so that required a new token. I got airdropped this new token on a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's still counting the value of my old tokens as well as my new ones, so it's a little bit confused in that aspect. And also when it comes to providing liquidity and all that sort of thing and staking, it doesn't seem to know that you're actually doing that, so it doesn't quite pick that up if you link your MetaMask as well. That's why I say it's quite a decent platform to use if you're just using centralized exchanges, and maybe using a decentralized exchange as well and using MetaMask. But I'd say for me and my own personal crypto journey, it's not really the platform that I'll be able to use, just for the fact that I've made most of my profits from DeFi and NFTs. So that's when I've decided to try and look at some other crypto portfolios that can track DeFi and NFTs in a bit more detail. And that's when I found Zapper. This one's actually pretty good if you just want to track certain wallets. For example, I've decided to track my own wallet there. If you want to track other wallets, all you have to do is just search by the account or ENS domain name. So it's really simple to actually follow these. As you scroll further down, it gives you a bit of a detail on sort of the wallets that you've got and the NFTs, and then some of the apps as well it can pick up, and it sort of gives you a dollar value amount of each one. Zapper supports over 11 different chains, including Ethereum, Polygon, BSC, Avalanche, just to name a few. The homepage shows basic information, as I mentioned before. It does, as you go further in detail and click on some of these, it gives you a bit more of a breakdown on what's actually held in the wallet, such as a token swap and also a bridge as well. The token swap interface integrates with the liquidity of other decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap and QuickSwap. And the bridging feature that they've got just means that the users can actually transfer assets between different chains. Zapper also do have integrations with other platforms to provide yield farming opportunities as well. It just gives you the ability to deposit assets into those liquidity pools to earn a return on, and it will all be tracked using Zapper. Zapper also gives you the ability to deposit directly from here into Yearn vaults as well, and it will track that all on the Zapper platform. It seems like a pretty solid app for DeFi and NFT users. One thing I did notice with the NFTs though is that your net worth can be a little bit inflated when it comes to the value of the NFTs. For example, for some of these NFT collections that I've got, it's got a little bit confused with the value of them. For example, I bought one for about 0.5 Ethereum, and that collection doesn't really have any volume, so I know that no one's going to buy it for 0.5 Ethereum, but it still comes up as part of my net worth. So it's almost like it just picks the price of what you bought it at rather than the floor price. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing in that sense, because that's obviously inflated my value by 0.5 Ethereum, which is slightly annoying, but it is what it is. I think at the end of the day, if you are an NFT or DeFi user, it's still better than Coinly, as you can actually see on the screen the collections that I'm a part of. It does tell you a floor price and then the estimated value in dollars. And then as you click on that collection, it goes into a bit more detail as to what it actually is. If you do click on the address book, you can actually link more than one wallet as well, and you can create something called a bundle. So you can just bundle all these wallets together. And if you know the actual account address of other accounts, you can also search and track their wallets as well. So it's good if you're sort of looking at whale wallets and you want to track what they're buying and selling. In terms of the staking section, or the more reward earning things that you can do in the DeFi space, it doesn't quite pick up every single app on there. As you can see, it's picked up my PancakeSwap stuff, but other than that, it's not found anything else. So it's not quite as in-depth as I'd like it to be when it comes to tracking that sort of stuff. And it does also pick up the value of my old tokens as well, which is again something that Coinly did, and it's something that has no value anymore. So it shouldn't be inflated my net worth there either. So yeah, a bit of a conclusion for this. It's good if you're using DeFi and NFTs as more of your primary source. If you're using centralized exchanges a lot, then this probably isn't the platform for you. But like I said, if you are using centralized exchanges, I'd just use something like Coinly. But it's still not quite there in terms of what I personally need. So I decided to delve in a little bit more and see what else I could find for other platforms. And the project I found that seems to be really in-depth is called DBank. DBank seems to be sort of the solutions of the problems that I actually had before with the other platforms. It's tracking the NFTs that I've got. It's tracking the buy-in and sell prices of those NFTs, which we'll go into more depth on a little bit later. It's also tracking my liquidity positions on other websites that Zapper never picked up. So it seems to be a little bit more in-depth in terms of your DeFi and NFT analysis. So before, just to track the value of my liquidity positions, I'd have to take out the liquidity and then work out how much those tokens are worth and then deposit the liquidity back into the protocols. And it was just a bit of a stupid way of doing it, but it's the only way I really knew. But luckily, DBank already tells me the value of these LP tokens, so I don't actually need to touch them. It does also tell me what rewards are waiting to be claimed from the liquidity pool as well, which is great. It just means that I don't have to check every single day. I can just see the value of those tokens waiting to be claimed, so I don't have to do it every single day. I can just simply use this app so it can tell me. So yeah, it does actually tell me the value of the farming protocols that I'm on, and it also sort of categorizes it itself. So you can see that on my screen that the Lightning is a separate tab. It brings me to a website as well. If I just click on there, it brings you to the website that it's stored on, and then it just tells you what's in there and then the dollar value and any rewards that you've got. So it's quite nice and just in depth. It's all in one place. It has picked up some of the old liquidity pools that I'm no longer a part of as well, but I think it notices that, especially if they are rugs. It's told me that there's no actual price available. So in terms of what they actually support, they support over 25 different chains, and it breaks down all the values of each different chain into like a percentage allocation, so you can see where all your money is actually held. And like I said before, it also categorizes it into whereabouts it is as well. So I can see that, say, 50% of my portfolio is held in just wallets, and then 25% might be on a DeFi platform. Another 25% might be on NFTs or something. We'll go into sort of the value of the NFTs now. Yeah, in terms of the NFT support that I mentioned, the data that they do give me is a lot more accurate. But it doesn't show the value of the NFT projects that didn't do well. It just means that they've never actually supported the NFT projects, which is fair enough, because I mean the value of those NFTs that didn't do well aren't worth anything. So if you're holding like NFT projects that have done well, then it will show it here. And the projects might have only done well for a certain amount of time as well. I mean, an example is I bought something called a Wonky Stonk NFT, right? It was a free mint, and I managed to sell it for 0.3 Ethereum, and it's actually managed to pick that up on here as a supported NFT project. And the value of that NFT project now is down probably 90% from what I sold it for. So even though some of these projects have failed, they still have support for a wide range, as you can tell with Wonky Stonks. What a name for a project. Yeah, you can actually see the NFT profit and loss that you've made as well from all the collections that you no longer own. This is something that I really like. It does actually give you a history of your profit and loss of each one. In terms of your minting projects and then selling them, it doesn't seem to pick up the price of what you minted it for, so that's something you'd have to keep a mental note of. But if you are buying on the secondary markets on OpenSea, say buying for 0.1 Ethereum for a project and then selling it at 0.2, it will pick that sort of thing up. And if I decide to go into a little bit more detail on them, well, this is the Wonky Stonks as an example. Well, it was a free mint for me, so there's no entry price. And the revenue I made was 0.3 Ethereum from it, and you can see when I exited that particular thing. And you can actually see who's holding it now as well. So this unlucky fella is holding the Wonky Stonk that he bought from me. So yeah, it gives you just a little bit more detail as to what you've actually managed to make from your NFTs, which is something I've not seen another free platform really do. In terms of its other features, it's not quite as feature rich as Zapper, so it might be worth even using both if you want to have the token swap as well. But they have something called a feed section, which I found really interesting. They basically got like a follower/followers part as well, so people can follow your account and you can follow others. And what I really find unique, and which is pretty cool, is to actually see the value of your followers in terms of their own portfolios put together. So if I followed someone else, the value of my wallet would be added to their total value of followers' portfolios. I hope that makes sense. So I'll pick on this person that has 14.1 thousand followers, and you can see that the total value of those followers in terms of their own accounts is 1.26 billion. So I don't know who is following this guy, but they are whales. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool feature. And I can actually see everything to do with this person's wallet. So I can go through and I can see he's got the majority of his assets on the Ethereum chain. He's got some on Arbitrum. I can go through his NFT portfolios and see his profit and loss. So he's bought some cupcats and sold them. Yeah, it's nice to actually see just all of this sort of stuff. And I can see all of his history as well. And that's the power of the blockchain. I can see everything. Yeah, you can see that this guy's a whale. Jeez, look at that. 2 CryptoPunks. Yeah, quite a cool feature. And if I want to track this person in the future, all I have to do is just click follow, and that's it. You can just see how many things that this guy's a part of as well. You just scroll further down, you can see just how much stuff this guy's actually in terms of what's ready to claim. Look, he's got some rewards there. He's got a $20,000 reward down there. Just crazy. So as you can see, much more in-depth than Zapper, just with the fact that it's got the history of your NFTs, your current holdings for NFTs as well, and then it's got all the liquidity positions that you're in, and it's also got the lending positions by the looks of it as well. So overall, this seems like the most in-depth DeFi/NFT one that I've sort of picked out for us today. Like I said, it's free to use as well. All you have to do is just connect your wallet. It was really simple for me to do, and it's managed to pick out everything that you need to sort of research. Again, with this platform, you can also link multiple wallets as well and create something called a bundle, just like Zapper, so you can actually see a list of multiple wallets and what's in each one. If you want to cover all centralized exchanges and wallets in one place, then use Coinly. If you want to track more DeFi and NFT side of things that track your liquidity positions, then I'd probably use DBank. I think this one is definitely my favorite out of the ones we've spoken about today. I just want to quickly mention before we end the video why it's important to actually track your portfolio. I'd say it's important because you can actually see what you've got allocated according to what sector. You don't want to be sort of imbalanced when it comes to this sort of stuff. The majority of investors that do well usually have set portfolio allocations. So they might allocate 50% towards large cap crypto coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then they might put 25% into large cap NFTs or DeFi projects, and then another 25% as play money. That's just a random example, right? But the value of all these different sectors can change every single day. If one of your sort of allocation spots has really done well, it might end up changing your total net worth to say 40% of your total net worth is in your play money. And this is where you want to sort of revalue your allocations. And having sort of an all-in-one portfolio tracker like this enables you to actually check this sort of stuff every single day. And then you can just be more active and on top of your investments. There have been some studies out there that have actually showed that when you do rebalance your portfolio back to your original plans, you do actually do better over the long term. And I suppose it does also help when it comes to filing your taxes as well. Like now I've set this up, I can just continuously check, and then when it comes to filing taxes, all the histories of the transactions that I've made is already there. So yeah, it definitely saves people just a headache of trying to figure out where everything is. You don't have to do it all manually. You can just use API keys for something like Coinly, or with something like DBank, you don't need any API keys. You just need the public address. I hope you got some value out of this video today. I know I have, just from doing the research. Yeah, DBank is definitely something that I like the look of. I wish they had a couple more features, like a token swap would be nice, and a bridge, you know, the things that Zapper has. But there's nothing stopping you actually using multiple of these if you wanted to as well. If you enjoyed the video and you did find some value, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, The list goes on. All of the links for the other social medias are in the description below, so make sure you check them out. Also, a disclaimer is below, as is the same for every single video. I'm not a financial advisor, so anything I say, entertainment or educational purposes only. And yeah, that's everything. So I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.